Hey guys, hope you're excited for API Friday to be back. We're going to try something new and fun today. We're going to do some live coding. So go ahead and open your cloud platform account in api.sap.com and let's get started. It's been a while since we've looked at the API Hub, so let's go ahead back and take a look at all the latest and greatest APIs from SAP. Don't forget it also includes APIs from partners as well as business services and integrations from both partners and SAP. So at this point we have over 150, actually 181 APIs and integration points available on the API Hub. Again, all of these are free to try out and use and have sandbox attached to the back of them so you can start testing and building sample apps right away. Today we'll be looking at the SuccessFactors recruiting API so we can get some information on candidates in the pipelines and find out more information about who's applying for our jobs. So let's go ahead and type recruiting in the search bar up here to filter out the results so we can find that recruiting package. So make sure you spell recruiting right. As you can see, spelling is not necessarily my strong point, so go ahead and make sure you spell it right, and then it's going to be that first package, the SuccessFactors recruiting package that we're going to be working with today. So go ahead and open that up. So once we get into the API package, if we go under the Artifacts tab, we'll find the actual APIs that are available within this package. So the APIs are the different endpoints that we can access data from. For SuccessFactors recruiting, we'll see stuff specific to jobs and job applications, as well as offers and interview details. We're going to look at job applications today. So once we get into the job applications, we'll see that screen that we're used to. But something new that you might see here at the top, if you haven't been back here, is the API endpoint. This is actually where your test data is coming from. So in this case, we'll just be using the sandbox provided for you from the API Hub. But if you have your own sandbox that you wanted to, you could use that configure option to set up your own sandbox and test against your own sample test data. We still have all of our methods available for our different endpoints that we're going to try out today. So when we're looking at job applications, we can get, post, and delete them. We'll still see that open API standard of data. So none of that has changed for you guys. It's all the same to make your lives easier. Of course, we have all of our query parameters as well that are provided because of OData. But when we want to try it out, we still have to log in. So don't forget to log in at this point as well. So once we're logged in, we'll go back to that job application API. Let's just set our top to 1 so we only get one result. You'll see the destination we're actually testing against at this point. So we're still testing against the sandbox provided by the API Hub. We'll try it out and we'll get our results. So once they load here, you'll see the response body in that JSON format that we like so much. Makes it nice and easy to see what's happening. And now we are ready to go and actually use this. Don't forget that you can always generate code if you need to include this in an application. This also includes other API endpoints you can test against if you want to try to get a different subset of test data. So if you haven't seen it yet, SAP has a full stack version of Web IDE. So it's under your services still, just instead of SAP Web IDE, we'll choose SAP Web IDE Full Stack, and this allows us to do full stack development. So we'll go ahead and go to that service, make sure it's enabled first, of course. Whenever using an SAP service, make sure it's enabled. It's going to look very similar to your traditional version of Web IDE, so no new surprises here, but definitely a very cool thing to try out. So we're going to go ahead and create a new application from a template. We'll go ahead and choose the SAP Fiori Worklist application template. This will just create a nice standard application for us using SAP UI5 features. Go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to name it Application App because we're including applications for a job. Now, when we get to the data connection, you'll see there's a 5th option, which is the SAP API Business Hub. So no more configuring destinations or wonky workarounds. It's actually right there for you in your data connection. You can see all the packages available and sort through the APIs. So it's not going to include those package names, it's going to be the actual API names. So if we filter down the list to just the APIs available from the SuccessFactors recruiting package, we'll see our job application API there. Again, we can filter this list to make it even easier to find the API we want to be using. So we'll go ahead and click on the API or job application API endpoint. When the service is ready to be used, we'll see that service available option up there at the top. At this point, it's the same wizard configuration of a template, similar to master detail if you've done that before, or any other work list application. So go ahead and enter whatever kind of details and information you want here. Provide a name for the application. Let's make it standalone instead of Fiori. Identify the namespace. For the object collection, when we open this dropdown, we'll see all of the entities that are available through the job application API endpoint. Let's go ahead and select the job application entity so we can see all the applicant details. And for the application ID here, or the collection ID, we'll use application ID. For the title, let's use the current title. There's a couple of title options, but let's stick with current title here. For the numeric attribute, we could use something like rating or salary, but let's go ahead and try base salary for this one. Once you have all those details entered, go ahead and click next and then finish, and our application will start to render for us, or the project files will be created. So this might take a little while. Doesn't mean that the project's not being created. However, if you notice, it's hanging for 10, 15, up to, if you pay that patient 30 seconds. Actually, if you just refresh the page, you'll find that the application is there for you. A little bug here. They're working on fixing it, but just don't be afraid to reload the application. Once your Web IDE full stack version reloads again, you'll see the new application there. We can go ahead and run it as a web application, and we'll select the index.html file as the file to run. You may be prompted for your SAP community credentials at this point. This is just the same credentials for your cloud platform, for the API Hub, for your SAP.com account, just those universal credentials that you have for all those SAP accounts, because it's going to go to the API Hub and fetch the data for you. Just want to make sure you're authenticated. As the application loads here, we'll start to see the Fiori work list template load maybe. I don't know, my internet's a little slow today. Sorry about that, everybody. All right, we're starting to see some Fiori-esque features that we know and love, that beautiful blue background. And we're pulling in the data as we speak. Oh, no, we're not. So we have an error here. Our error is telling us that our sort by field isn't actually sortable. So let's go ahead and fix that in our application. So in our controller, our view. In our view, we're going to open our work list view. Let's go ahead and find an object from the model that is actually sortable. This will be things like dates or numbers. Those are going to be sortable entities. Strings are really a lot more intensive to sort. So let's go with something finite, like a date time. So under that sorter, let's replace the path to that date time field, save our changes, and run the application again. And this time when it loads, hopefully we'll actually get data. Looking good so far. Data, please. Anyone got any funny jokes while we wait for data? Oh, okay, cool. So we've got our data, but it doesn't look very interesting or informative. So let's make a couple quick tweaks here. So back in that work list view, let's go ahead and find the object identifier for the table. Let's change the current title to actually the text property instead of the title property. And here we'll set the title property to maybe be the applicant's first and last name, so we have some more details about who's applying for this job. So let's go ahead and bind in the first name and then space the last name here to that title attribute. So title will be first last name, and then text will be current title for the employee or applicant. Make sure you save your changes. Once saved, so that star is gone, go ahead and run the application again. Now, hopefully, when the data loads, it'll be a little bit more interesting and give us some more insight into who's applying for our role here. All right, so now we've got some names and we've got their current titles. So we are able to filter out maybe people whose titles don't seem to fit the role that we're hiring for, and we're able to get some names and some more information about these employees. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's live coding for API Friday. If you like this style, let me know and we can totally do more of it. But you saw how in 10 minutes we created an application using SAP API Business Hub as well as SAP Web IDE Full Stack Edition. So go ahead and try this some more on your own, try out the different packages, see how easy it is to create those integrated applications using SAP's front end like UI5 and the back end being your API hub. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will see you guys next week for the next edition of API Friday.